Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom, there ruled a wise and just king. King Alaric, as he was known, was renowned for his wisdom and his unwavering dedication to the well-being of his people. His kingdom prospered, and the people adored him. But there was one particular story about King Alaric that was especially motivating and cherished by all who heard it. It was a cold winter's night, and a fierce storm raged outside the castle walls. The wind howled, and the snow fell in thick, heavy blankets. King Alaric was known for his humility and his close connection to his subjects. He often walked among the common folk, listening to their concerns and sharing their joys. On this particular night, despite the raging storm, King Alaric decided to venture out into the streets. He bundled up in plain, unadorned clothing and, without any royal fanfare, he left the warmth and comfort of the castle. The king made his way to the poorest part of the city, where a widow and her children lived in a small, ramshackle hut. The widow, named Ilara, had fallen on hard times. Her husband had perished in a war, leaving her alone to care for their 3 young children. Her tiny hut was barely standing, and the meager supplies of firewood she had were running out. She had nothing to feed her children but a few stale crusts of bread. As King Alaric arrived at Ilara's doorstep, he could see the desperation in her eyes. He knocked on the door and, when she opened it, he introduced himself simply as a traveler in need of shelter from the storm. Ilara, seeing his humble attire and unaware of his true identity, welcomed him into her meager home. The king stayed the night, helping Ilara and her children by sharing stories, playing games, and making the best of the meager supplies they had. In the morning, as the storm had passed, he revealed his true identity and thanked Ilara for her hospitality. He left her a bag of gold coins, enough to repair her hut and buy food for her children. Word of the king's visit to Ilara's home quickly spread throughout the kingdom, touching the hearts of everyone who heard it. King Alaric's act of humility and kindness became a symbol of his leadership. It was a reminder to his people that he was not a ruler who sat in the comfort of his castle, detached from their struggles. He was a king who understood their needs and was willing to go to great lengths to help those in distress. The story of King Alaric's visit to Ilara's home served as a powerful motivation for his subjects. It inspired them to be kinder, more compassionate, and more united as a community. They recognized that their king was not just a wise and just ruler but a man of great humility and empathy. In the years that followed, King Alaric's kingdom continued to thrive, not only in material wealth but also in the richness of its people's character. The wisdom of King Alaric's actions, motivated by a deep love for his people, was a lasting legacy that reminded them all that true leadership comes from the heart, and that the greatest strength of a kingdom lies in the compassion and unity of its citizens.